Today we'll be looking at my new YT Jeffsy AL One 27, meaning it's an aluminum frame, has a 1x drivetrain, and features 27.5-inch wheels. If you've been with the channel a while, you may know me as a road cyclist, but I've always had a special place in my heart for mountain biking. I've owned cheaper hardtails in the past, but this is my first nice full suspension trail bike, simply named the fucking Trail Fox. I've had the bike for around a month now and wanted to give my initial thoughts and impressions on it. While my riding definitely needs improving, I'm happy to do so on this bike. I wanted a bike that I could grow into rather than outgrow quickly, and the Jeffsy really fit the bill. I like to dick around on my bikes rather than go fast, so with 150 millimeters of suspension travel in the front and rear, slack head angle, low standover height, and short chainstays, this bike checks all the boxes on my wish list. The Pike RC up front and the Deluxe RT out back provides plenty of cushion out on the trails. It didn't even bottom out on this drop. It has a SRAM X1 drivetrain, race face turbine cranks and bars, which are 770 millimeters wide, SRAM Guide RS brakes, which seem to do their job very well, and an E13 TRS dropper post. This post uses a full mechanical design rather than a hydraulic system. Maybe not the nicest post ever, but I really appreciate its simplicity. The tires are Maxxis High Roller 2s, which I converted to tubeless, and so far they seem tough as balls. These tires are wrapped around DT Swiss M1900s, which seem fine so far. The bike weighs in at 30 pounds, and while it isn't the heaviest trail bike out there, it feels massive coming off of my road bike. The Jeffsy still climbs really well though, and I've had no problems getting up some steep climbs. I attribute this to the rear suspension. I think it does a really great job keeping the back tire planted on the ground. I feel the weight more when I'm trying to sprint, but YT has done an excellent job keeping pedal bob to a minimum. I blame my own lack of physical fitness for not being fast. I think where this bike really shines is descending and flowy single track. It has that aggressive head angle that just begs to be thrown down some hills, and the short chainstays make the bike feel very snappy and responsive. This section's awesome. This bike inspires a lot of confidence once you get comfortable on it. It tracks amazingly well, even on some really rocky areas. I just kind of point it where I want it to go, and it complies with no hesitation. This bike is also incredibly playful and feels at home on the trails or in the streets. No matter where I am on this bike, I'm having a great time. With the good must come the bad though, but I promise there isn't too much I dislike about this bike. One thing many people complain about is the saddle, and I'm kind of right there with you. It's pretty uncomfortable. My ass is getting used to it because I'm too cheap to buy a new one, but that is the first thing I would recommend changing. Another thing that kind of sucks is the fact that you can only get this bike online. While it did offer substantial savings over a traditional bike, I did have to wait 3 months to receive a bike I've never test ridden before. I did enough research on sizing and all that to make an informed decision, so just make sure you do the same when shopping for direct retail bikes. All in all, I absolutely love this bike and don't have any buyer's remorse with it. I spent many months reading reviews about this bike and I'm really glad I went with it. So if you are looking for a true do-it-all trail bike, you'd be hard-pressed to look away from the Jeffsy. While bikes are pretty expensive, at least they were kind enough to provide me with this more affordable home. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Woo! Yes!